The career rise of Bernard Arnault, the world's richest man and luxury goods mogul who owns brands like Louis Vuitton and Dior. Bernard Arnault is the world's richest man, with a net worth of $212 billion. Arnault controls the massive luxury conglomerate LVMH, Moët, Hennessy, Louis Vuitton. All of Arnault's children work at LVMH brands, including Louis Vuitton, Berluti, and TAG Heuer. When it comes to the world of luxury goods, perhaps no one is more successful than Bernard Arnault. Arnault, the 74-year-old CEO of French luxury conglomerate LVMH, Moët, Hennessy, Louis Vuitton, has built his fortune over the span of almost 4 decades, amassing a luxury goods empire that includes some of the best-known names in fashion, jewelry, and alcohol, including Louis Vuitton, TAG Heuer, and Dom Pérignon. Along the way, Arnault has brought his 5 adult children into the fold, building a family-run business that has resulted in the world's largest fortune. Here's how Arnault got his start and became the richest person in the world. The 74-year-old French businessman is the chairman and CEO of LVMH, Moët, Hennessy, Louis Vuitton, known as LVMH. Arnault owns a 97.5% stake in Christian Dior, which controls 41.4% of LVMH. He studied engineering at one of France's most prestigious schools, the École Polytechnique. After graduating, Arnault went to work for his father's construction company, Ferret-Savinel. In 1984, Arnault acquired an ailing company called Agache-Willet-Boussac. Agache-Willet-Boussac owned brands like French department store Bon Marché and the fashion house Christian Dior. He renamed the firm Financière Agache and initiated a turnaround, cutting costs and selling off some of its businesses. Soon after, he bought fashion house Celine and funded the French designer Christian Lacroix. In the late 1980s, Arnault said his goal was to run the world's largest luxury company within the following decade. He then set his sights on LVMH, Moët, Hennessy, Louis Vuitton, spending $2.6 billion buying up shares in order to become the company's largest shareholder, and eventually its chairman and CEO by 1989. Arnault married in Duverne in 1973, and they had 2 children together before separating in 1990. Arnault remarried in 1991 to Hélène Mercier, a Canadian concert pianist. He reportedly wooed her by playing Chopin and other classical composers. Like many of his fellow billionaires, Arnault lives a lavish life. He travels by private jet, owns a sprawling vacation villa in glitzy Saint-Tropez on the French Riviera, and reportedly has also spent at least $96.4 million on residential properties in the Los Angeles area, in Beverly Hills, and in the Torresdale Estates and Hollywood Hills neighborhoods. The French billionaire and his wife live on Paris's left bank, south of the Seine River, a historic area that includes neighborhoods such as the Latin Quarter and Saint-Germain-des-Prés. In their home, Arnault keeps a collection of modern and contemporary art from artists that include Jean-Michel Basquiat, Damien Hirst, Maurizio Cattelan, Andy Warhol, and Pablo Picasso. Arnault has 5 children, 2 with his first wife, and 3 with his current wife. Antoine and Delphine Arnault are his 2 children from his first marriage. His youngest 3, Alexander, Frederick, and Jean, are from his second marriage to Mercier. Delphine, Arnault's oldest daughter, is the apparent heiress to the LVMH empire. She started her career at American consultancy firm McKinsey & Co. in Paris and was the executive vice president at Louis Vuitton. In January 2019, Delphine became the youngest member of LVMH's executive committee at age 43. Delphine became CEO and chair of Christian Dior Couture in February. Delphine married Italian wine heir Alessandro Vallarino Gancia in 2005 in what Forbes called at the time France's wedding of the year. The couple divorced in 2010. She now reportedly lives with tech billionaire Xavier Niel and has 1 daughter. Delphine is notoriously private about her personal life. In a 2014 interview with the Financial Times, she said, "I'm quite discreet. I think I'd rather focus on my work." Delphine's younger brother Antoine is CEO of Christian Dior, the holding company of LVMH. He's also the CEO of menswear label Berluti and the non-executive chair of cashmere label Loro Piana, both owned by LVMH. In addition to those roles, Antoine was named head of communications and image for LVMH in June 2018. He's married to supermodel Natalia Vodianova, whom he reportedly met on a shoot for a 2008 Louis Vuitton campaign, when he was the brand's head of communications. The couple lives in Paris with their 2 children, and Vodianova's 3 children from a previous marriage. Alexander, the son of Bernard Arnault and Mercier, became an executive VP at Tiffany Co. after LVMH bought the jewelry brand. LVMH acquired Tiffany Co. in 2021, after which Alexander became the company's executive vice president of product and communications. Prior to moving over to Tiffany, Alexander was the CEO of Arnault, a German luggage brand owned by LVMH. Alexander is longtime friends with Evan Spiegel, the chief executive of Snap. Spiegel told the New York Times that Alexander is a really creative guy and that he's constantly thinking about the brand and how to express that. Alexander's younger brother Frederick is the CEO of TAG Heuer. Frederick joined LVMH as the temporary head of Connected Technologies at TAG Heuer in 2017. A year later, he became strategy and digital director at the Swiss watch company, LVMH's largest watch brand. In 2020, Frederick was named TAG Heuer CEO. Frederick graduated from his father's alma mater, École Polytechnique in Paris, and interned at Facebook and consulting firm McKinsey before joining LVMH. Arnault's youngest son, Jean, joined the family business in 2021. Jean Arnault became marketing and product director in Louis Vuitton's watch division in August 2021. Jean, who was 23 at the time, has a master's degree in financial mathematics from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, as well as a master's in mechanical engineering from Imperial College London. WWD reported, according to his LinkedIn profile. He interned at Morgan Stanley and McLaren Racing and worked in a Louis Vuitton retail store before joining the company full-time. Arnault has rubbed shoulders with some of the planet's most influential figures in the fashion world and otherwise. In 2017, Arnault met President-elect Donald Trump at Trump Tower in New York City, right before Trump's inauguration, to discuss expanding LVMH factories in the U.S. The company opened a new 100,000 square foot Louis Vuitton factory in Texas in 2019, the company's 3rd factory in the U.S. Trump attended a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the factory. Arnault was reportedly friends with Apple founder Steve Jobs. Jobs once said to Arnault, "You know, Bernard, I don't know if in 50 years my iPhone will still be a success, but I can tell you, I'm sure everybody will still drink your Dom Perignon." Former Goldman Sachs chief executive Lloyd Blankfein once called Arnault a complete visionary, adding that he saw the increase of wealth in the world. Arnault is reportedly longtime friends with former French President Nicolas Sarkozy and was a witness at Sarkozy's wedding to singer and model Carla Bruni. Arnault considered the legendary designer and Chanel creative director Karl Lagerfeld a good friend. "The death of this dear friend deeply saddens me, my wife and my children," Arnault said in a statement upon Lagerfeld's death in 2019. "We loved and admired him deeply. Fashion and culture has lost a great inspiration." But Arnault also has a long-standing public rivalry with François Pinault, the founder of luxury group Kering, who's worth about $37 billion. Kering owns brands including Gucci and Yves Saint Laurent. The billionaire also owns Christie's auction house. LVMH originally tried to acquire a majority stake in Gucci in 1999, but Pinault ultimately snatched up the brand. Over the years, Arnault has built LVMH into the largest luxury conglomerate in the world and earned himself an imposing nickname, the Wolf in the Cashmere Coat. He's behind the creation of Foundation Louis Vuitton, a Frank Gehry-designed contemporary art museum and performance space in Paris that opened in 2014. In April 2019, LVMH released a statement on behalf of the Arnault family, pledging €200 million, or about $218.8 million, to help rebuild the Notre Dame Cathedral, which was heavily damaged in a 2019 fire. In October 2020, Arnault's company bought Tiffany Co. for $15.8 billion in the luxury sector's biggest ever deal. The contentious sale involved multiple lawsuits and a $400 million price drop. When it comes to finances, the past few years have been a roller coaster ride for Arnault and LVMH. In January 2019, Arnault made $4.3 billion in a single day after LVMH shares surged 6.9%. And just 6 months later, on June 19, 2019, Arnault again made news when he became the third person in the world to reach a $100 billion net worth. Then the coronavirus pandemic hit, and pandemic-related shutdowns sank LVMH's stock, sending Arnault's personal net worth down more than $30 billion by May 2020. But as the world opened up again, LVMH's stock recovered, thanks to strong sales in fashion and leather goods and an uptick in alcohol sales, particularly champagne. It's been a good year so far for the company. It recorded €36.7 billion in revenue in the first half of 2022, up 28% from the same period in 2021. Arnault is the world's richest person, with a net worth of $212 billion. His wealth has grown by $33.7 billion so far this year. Arnault's net worth surpassed the $200 billion mark earlier this month, making him the third person ever, behind Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, to do so. LVMH's headquarters in Paris were briefly stormed by protesters in April who are opposed to the French government's proposal to raise the country's retirement age from 60 to 64. On the same day, Arnault's fortune increased by $12 billion. Arnault reportedly meets with his 5 children for a monthly lunch in the private dining room at LVMH to instruct them on the company's strategy and manager performance, the Wall Street Journal reported. Sydney Toledano, CEO of LVMH's fashion arm, told the journal that it's not guaranteed that one of Arnault's children will succeed him as CEO of LVMH.